cough, congestion, respiratory problems, and it's lasted more than 2 days, we do recommend that you go seek your medical provider, your doctor, and from there they would either take it into their hands to either have you tested, or see what, if it's just a common cold that you have or the flu that you may be experiencing. What we don't want is for a community here in El Paso to get in panic mode, which we already have seen at the source. It has turned into a panic mode. Keep in mind that this is something that is not an airborne disease. You're not gonna catch it by breathing the air. So if you do notice maybe somebody that may be sick, maybe around you, maybe just keeping your distance from your person once you get home, washing your hands, always using the sanitizer. We do recommend that you always use, wash your hands at least a couple of times throughout the day, especially if you have touched a certain surface, you don't know if the surface has been cleaned or not. I know a lot of the stores have depleted of hand sanitizers, cleaning supplies. Just know that soap and water is just as good as disinfecting anything, okay? So you don't need those hand sanitizers or the bleach products around to sanitize anything around you. For our children as well, if they're sick, if you yourself are feeling sick, we are asking that you do stay at home just until you get yourself better. We do want to prevent from this kind of straying along or kind of moving along, passing along this virus, okay? I know it is something very new, especially here in our community, but we do want you to rest, assure that we are working very hard here within the health department to make sure that we take the measures that we need to take to educate our community. If you have questions or concerns, you can always contact the number 211. I know we were out in the community yesterday, we were getting a lot of questions in regards to what if I don't have insurance and I'm feeling those symptoms. Well, you can call 211. There are many resources out there that can assist you. You can also go to the emergency room, and the emergency room is not going to turn you away for services if you have really those concerns. If for whatever reason it is a positive test, they are going to put you, we do ask that you stay at home, self-quarantine yourself. Treating this, there is no vaccine out there, but treat it as a cold, lots of rest, lots of fluids, plenty of chicken soup, get yourself just feeling better. We do ask that you stay at home with 14 days, just self-quarantine yourself within those 14 days, and then once you start to feel better, then you can start to come out to the community. But like we mentioned, especially with our little ones, if they are feeling sick, if you yourself are feeling sick, just to kind of avoid from spreading of the germs, just stay at home and until you start to feel better yourself. Okay, we do have some pamphlets available. If there's any questions, concerns that you may have, we're definitely here to answer anything that you may have. Yes, sir.
I've heard rumors that you can be without symptoms and still carry the virus and spread it. Is this a true concern?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Can a person without symptoms be a carrier and spread the virus?
Well, keep in mind that you don't start to show these symptoms until maybe 2 days after you've been infected. Like, you don't start to show the symptoms until maybe about 2 days after you have been infected. So you may have been infected maybe 2 days ago and be that carrier, but you won't start to show those symptoms maybe after 2 days. So there's always that possibility. Of course, we are asking you to practice those safe practices of the 4 C's for clean. Make sure you clean everything around you. If you have a cough, cough into a tissue, cover your cough into your elbow. Just make sure you're taking care of if you are experiencing some similar symptoms, have yourself checked out. Just take precaution for yourself and for others around you. If you start to feel anything, just kind of stay away from the community or public just until you start to feel better. If you don't feel better, and like I mentioned, it takes about 2 days for you to show those symptoms. If you do worsen, and usually with the symptoms, you will start to get worse at 2 days instead of better. So if you do get worse, go to the doctor, and at that point is when the doctors will make that determination to get you tested out there or not. But yes, there's always that possibility. But again, keep in mind that the mode of transportation of this virus is by touching your face, by coughing and then touching a surface, and then of course somebody coming to that surface and touching it, they don't know. So what's the first thing they do is they touch their face, they touch their nose, their mouth. So that's a mode of transportation for this virus. It's not airborne, but it is, can be transmitted by just, mhm,
Okay,
yes.
that
And, yes, ma'am.
How can the elderly need be met? How can it be addressed, you know, those, and I'm not talking nursing home or, of course, hospitals, but those that need maybe over-the-counter medications, maybe they're getting symptoms and the word hasn't gotten out and around our neighborhood, I think we know our neighbors, and so I think, you know, if something can be done publicly.
Yes, that's something that, since we just started to begin with this, task as of yesterday, we are working with different, groups with the fire department and figuring out how we can target all of our different populations. Cause those at risk are of course the elderly people and those who are, have some sort of, immune system, like high blood pressure or diabetes, those are gonna be the ones with the higher risk. So we are working with plans with that to see how we're gonna focus in that here in our community of El Paso, because those are the ones that are being targeted, and unfortunately, those are the ones that a lot of our people feel that they're the forgotten ones, you know, and those are the ones that run the higher risk. So we are working with a plan with our preparedness department here within the health department to see how we're gonna focus. So this is just the beginning for us. So we're just starting now. So for the next couple of days, we'll definitely be coming up with more plans and focusing all of our different groups within our community and see how we can help everybody out. Yes.
I know with this, one case here in El Paso, it's, like, it's a secret who he is, or where he's been, or what he's touched, or what stores he's gone to. Can that information be shared with the public without violating the HIPAA laws? You don't have to know who he is, just what he's done.
Well, you know, I know that, here within the health department, the HIPAA is a really big deal. But what the EPI department is working on, they are working on to see who this person was in contact with, where he was at, and of course, being that if he was exposed in a huge public place, those people do have that right of knowing. So that's what their investigation consists of right now, and they are working on with him to find out where he has been at, so that way they can find a way to communicate with those people that he may have been closely around to get them tested as well. So they are working on that. Unfortunately, even as me as an employee, I don't know who the person is, I don't know where the person has been. It is to protect his identity, but they are working with that. And if, what I was told yesterday is that anybody that he may have come in contact, that they're already working on getting in contact with those people. So they're already getting those phone calls that they need to come in and get in testing. So if you haven't received a phone call, you're well off.
Can I follow up on the public's right to know and versus the privacy of the individual, where does the line drawn to let the public know? You know, and I know you said they're investigating it. I mean, how long does that take? You've known about it for 3 or 4 days now.
Okay, so this case was what they call a presumptive positive. So until the CDC verifies that it's a positive, then that's when there will be more information released. For CDC to get that positive, it does take 3 business days, and keep in mind this happened Friday, so it fell into this weekend. So we will probably start to hear more information either tomorrow or by Tuesday for sure. So that's where there'll be, I'm sure, more information released as once we get that positive from the CDC community area. Any other questions? No? Well, we do appreciate your time, and like I mentioned, we have pamphlets here. We don't want you to be scared. I know that it's easily said than done, all right? But just know that there is no need. I know we're going out to the stores and purchasing a lot of toilet paper and a lot of waters, but there is no need of that. They made it very clear there is no shortage of water or toilet paper. It's just the stores are having a hard time keeping stock with what the buyers are purchasing. So just keep in mind that there is no need to hoard of food or toilet paper or any of that. Everything is going to be fine. We are working here as a health department as much as we can together to help prevent this disease. So just keep in mind that the main important thing is just keep your hands clean, keep them out of your face. We're not, I know nationally they're recommending not to do the handshake. There's different ways of saying hi to a person, just to protect yourself right now, just until we can get over this little hump that we're going through, okay? But the health department is here. We are working, we've been working almost, it feels like 24 hours right now, a day, just to figure out a plan here for our community of El Paso. But we have the information here. The best resource number though is 211. Okay, 211 will relate you to any resources here locally that you may need. If you know of a person who needs assistance and they don't have that assistance, 211 is the number to call. Okay, thank you so much. No questions or concerns? Yes, sir.
CVS was selling toilet paper, 4 rolls for $10 yesterday. And to me, that's gouging, and that should be against the law.
Yes, and that's something that I know that they are looking, especially here locally, and I believe they're being fined for that. So,
I hope they.
yes, because that's not okay.
I did not understand the question. Could you repeat it, please?
He was just mentioning that CVS was selling a 4-pack of toilet paper for $10. So at that point, we know obviously that these, yes, they're gouging, so they're taking advantage. So these cases are being reported, and the city is going out there to making sure that they're taking action appropriately for that. We do apologize, so, but, any other questions? Yes.
My question is, has there been any information when they're gonna start allowing, like, groups to get back together, sporting events, school events? Is there any, are we gonna just do this infinitely?
I mean, we hope it's not gonna be infinite, but I know as of yesterday, the school districts did have a meeting in the evening. I'm not sure, I wasn't providing the information what was discussed in that meeting as of yet.
Well, I'm just saying, has our government or anybody said that?
All I can tell you is that China is totally shut down, right? And they just right now are beginning to reopen everything up to the public. So it's taking 3 months.
It will be